Welcome back, everyone. Today, we dive straight into Chapter 50 of Solo Leveling, Ragnarok. But before we witness the chaos and power plays ahead, if you haven't seen Chapter 49 yet, make sure to check it out first, because the events there set the stage for everything you're about to see now. Let's jump right in. The scene opens softly. An elderly man stands in the shallow edge of a quiet stream, the cool water barely reaching his knees. Beside him, sitting cross-legged near the water's edge, is a small boy, maybe 5, 6, at most 7 years old. The old man's posture is relaxed, but his skin is marked by deep scars that tell a silent history. The child tilts his head curiously, his eyes tracing those scars. In a small, innocent voice, he asks, "Grandpa, why do you have so many scars?" The old man chuckles, a warm but weathered sound. "Ah, you mean these?" He lifts an arm and begins pointing to them one by one. "These aren't just scars, kid, they're badges. Each one with its own story." He touches a long, jagged mark across his forearm. This one got it saving a 7-year-old from a burning building. His hand moves to a faded line near his ribs. This came from stopping a drunk from causing chaos in the street. And then he gestures to another, and another, his voice growing quieter as he speaks of each moment. Each mark a memory of putting himself in harm's way for others. The boy listens silently, his eyes wide, his young mind trying to grasp the weight of those stories. Finally, after the old man falls quiet, the child speaks again. "But, Grandpa, why would you go so far? Why would you hurt yourself just to save other people?" The old man smiles softly. He reaches out, resting his rough hand gently on the boy's head. "It's not that I'm not afraid of getting hurt," he says slowly. Then his gaze drifts toward the distance, as though looking at a younger version of himself. "It's just my body always moved first. Every single time." The scene snaps back to the present. Suho stands in a grim prison corridor, one boot pressed hard against the jaw of a fallen inmate. Around him, dozens of prisoners circle like vultures, eyes burning with malice. Suho's expression is sharp, cold, and unflinching. He speaks, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "You have two options." A pause. Then the words drop like heavy stones. "Quietly get yourselves knocked out, or resist and die." Murmurs ripple through the prisoners. One of them, still trembling from what he just saw, whispers to the man beside him, "Did you see that guy's kick just now?" Another prisoner leans closer, eyes narrowing. "Is he a high-rank hunter?" A third inmate, grinning far too confidently, steps forward from behind Suho. "What's the worry? We have star fragments." At that signal, several of them pull out the dangerous crystals. One by one, they consume them, and immediately, a violent surge of power bursts from their bodies. Their auras flare, their muscles tighten, and their eyes burn with unnatural energy. The laughter starts, wild, arrogant, echoing through the hall. One prisoner roars, "I'm overflowing with power." Another sneers, "Right now, I feel like I could take on an A rank. Maybe even an S rank." Suho narrows his eyes, his tone low but steady. "So, that's a no on quietly getting knocked out?" And then, time seems to stop. A familiar voice slides into Suho's mind, dripping with venom. "Why are you even asking?" Standing just behind him, though no one else can see, is Lee Min-sung, dead long ago. Yet here, in Suho's head, he has taken the form of Suho's inner demon. Min-sung steps closer, his words sharp and accusing. "They've taken the star fragments. That means they're going to fight, to kill. And you're hesitating? Right now, innocent people are dying at the hands of these escaped scum." He circles Suho like a predator, his voice growing harsher. "I should have known, you're still too soft. What was the point of your class change? You're still just a brat inside." Suddenly, Min-sung shouts, "Here, go ahead, try it. Put a hole straight through their guts, just like you killed me." His grin widens as the wound on his own stomach appears, a grotesque reminder of his death. "Hurry, Suho, show me." Then he breaks into wild, echoing laughter. But the laughter cuts off abruptly when Min-sung notices something. Because in the real world, Suho's boot grinds down, and with a sickening crunch, he crushes the skull of the inmate beneath him. The other prisoners freeze. The confidence they had seconds ago falters, replaced by a creeping fear. The moment the first prisoner fell, chaos erupted. One by one, the remaining inmates, armed with crude knives and short swords, began converging on Suho like a pack of predators closing in on their prey. Their eyes burned with desperation and bloodlust as they charged forward, weapons raised high, eager to tear him apart. Without hesitation, Suho stepped into their assault. A prisoner lunged in first, but Suho caught the man's wrist in an iron grip. With a swift motion, he ripped the short sword from the prisoner's hand, and before the man could react, Suho's fist came crashing down on his hand. Crack! The sickening sound of bone shattering echoed through the alley. The prisoner screamed, clutching his mangled hand, but mercy was not on the table tonight. Suho swung the stolen blade in a single, merciless arc. Steel met flesh, and the prisoner's body crumpled to the ground, lifeless before he even knew what had happened. Blood pooled beneath him as Suho stepped over the corpse without a glance. Another inmate froze in terror as Suho approached. His hands trembled, his voice cracking as he muttered in disbelief. Huh? Why couldn't I see it? I definitely took a star fragment. The man's confusion lasted only a heartbeat. Suho's fist shot forward like a hammer, slamming into the prisoner's jaw with devastating force. Crunch! Teeth flew through the air as the man's jaw snapped sideways. His entire body lifted off the ground and hurled backward until he slammed into a wall with a dull thud. But Suho didn't stop. He advanced toward the groaning prisoner, ready to finish him, when suddenly, two more inmates leapt through the air from behind, one swinging a heavy axe, the other slashing with a short sword. Before their weapons could find their mark, the shadows beneath Suho writhed to life. Dark, spear-like shapes burst upward, ripping through the ground and skewering the attackers midair. The shadow spears punched clean holes through their abdomens, leaving them gasping in agony before collapsing lifelessly to the ground. Then, a hand rested lightly on Suho's shoulder. Suho turned his head and found Lee Minseong standing there with a calm, almost mocking smile. You've changed so much in such a short period of time. Isn't that amazing? Minseong said, his tone almost playful. He took a step closer, voice dripping with false concern. Anyway, you could have just subdued them. Was it fine for you to kill them all like this? How can you call yourself a hunter when you can't even tell the difference between a magic beast and a human? A cruel laugh escaped his lips as his form began to fade, vanishing into thin air. Looks like you've become a monster too. Suho's eyes narrowed. Baru. From the shadows, Baru emerged, his insect-like form looming over the carnage. Yes, young monarch, he said respectfully. Eat the villains, Suho ordered coldly, and read their memories. I need to know who the ringleader is, and why the inmates are attacking civilians instead of running away. Baru tilted his head, his tone shifting to concern. Young master, is everything fine? Yeah, Suho replied evenly. It's all good. But Baru wasn't convinced. I understand your desire to save people, he said slowly. But, is it really fine for you to keep operating without hiding your identity? Suho's voice hardened. Truth be told, I did come here to save people. But once I started thinking about it, his eyes darkened. I got irritated. Suho drops to one knee beside the fallen hunter, a man who had died fighting those criminals Suho had just taken down moments ago. His voice is steady, but there's a weight to his words. Now, when everyone should be preparing to fight against the Apostle of the Iterum. If problems between Awakeners keep flaring up like this, it's going to be too overwhelming. In this state, all we'll end up doing is becoming a burden to my father. Suho gently closes the dead hunter's eyes, which had remained open even in death, and continues speaking, his tone growing more resolute. So, I won't hide any longer. I'll step forward and unite everyone. He glances around, his gaze sweeping across those present, and begins to name each force he intends to bring together. The remaining monarchs' descendants, hunters, villains. His eyes sharpen, voice gaining power, items, and even magic beasts. I'm going to gather every shred of strength in this world that can stand against the Iterum, with my own power, no matter what. Baru, practically buzzing with excitement, blurts out with a grin. Are you saying you'll make everything in this world submit to you, young monarch? Suho shoots him a side glance, replying with a hint of dry humor. I'm talking about comrades, you know. Then his focus shifts back to the enemies at hand. For that to happen, I have to deal with the villains here first, and to hunt down the countless criminals hiding across the city. I'll need to match them in numbers as well. Suho raises his hand toward the bodies of the defeated villains and the fallen prisoners. His eyes harden, his voice low but commanding. I won't hesitate anymore. Then, with an iron resolve, he utters the word that summons shadows from death itself. Arise. The scene shifts. A tall, weathered building stands against the dim sky. On its rooftop, shadowy figures are gathered, watching the streets below. A close-up, a car's wheel slowly rolls forward. The vehicle moves cautiously through a narrow alleyway between two old buildings, unaware of the danger lurking above. Suddenly, a swirling blast of fire shoots down the alley, rushing straight toward the car. Impact. The flames engulf the vehicle in a blinding explosion. Metal screams, glass shatters, and fire swallows everything. On the rooftop, several figures watch the chaos below. One of them smirks and mutters, "Unfortunate bastards. These are escaped prisoners." One chuckles darkly. To think they'd be driving through now, of all times. Guess they haven't heard about the city's current situation, huh? Down in the burning wreckage, a voice calls out through the smoke. An older man's voice, calm yet firm. "Miho, are you okay?" A woman's voice answers, unfazed. "This much is nothing." The older man grips the scorched car door with one hand, speaking with a faint growl. "I suppose we can't exactly demand reimbursement for losses against these mongrels, right?" With a single motion, he rips the car door free. The heavy door sails through the air, flying upward toward the rooftop like a thrown spear. One prisoner spots it mid-flight, his eyes widening in shock. A car door. Through the blazing wreckage, two figures emerge. One is a tall man with a stern gaze. The other, a woman radiating an aura of confidence and authority. The man mutters in irritation, almost as if this is nothing more than a minor inconvenience. "What a mess, right in the middle of our family trip." The woman's eyes narrow, her tone sharp. "It's a relief this happened while we were around." The world knows her name, Beck Miho, Vice Guild Master of the White Tiger Guild. The man glances her way, a faint grin breaking through. "Yeah, if we're late, your mom's going to give me an earful." His expression hardens, his voice dropping into a command. "Let's get this over with quickly." This is Beck Yunho, Guild Master of the White Tiger Guild. An S-rank awakener whose presence alone sends shivers down the spine. And that wraps up Chapter 50 of Solo Leveling, Ragnarok. What an explosive turn of events. The White Tiger Guild is here, and things are only going to get wilder from here on. A huge thank you to all of you for watching, and an extra special shout out to our amazing channel members. Jose Kaye, Klaus, Rodel Luna, Mohammed Nifad, Nocturna Monster, Rishav, and our newest member, Ben San. Your support means the world and keeps this journey going strong. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed, hit that bell so you don't miss the next chapter, and I'll see you all in the next one.